Last month, I signed an executive directive to appoint a COVID-19 workplace safety within the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. We're now going to get back to business, but it's going to be not business as usual. It's going to look a little bit different because we still have to figure out how to live with COVID-19 and to do it well. So today I'm proud to announce that Sean Egan, the Deputy Director for Labor at Leo, will fill that position with regard to COVID-19 and getting back to work. Sean has spent his career helping working families in Michigan, and I'm confident that he will continue to do everything to protect workers and their families from the spread of COVID-19 as we more fully re-engage sectors of our economy. He will be responsible for helping to ensure that as business across the state reopens under the My Safe Start plan, they enact strict safety measures to protect the health and safety of their employees and their customers, which extends to all of our families. This work is going to be crucial in helping us lower the chance of a second wave to protect the brave men and women serving on the front lines of this crisis, and so that we can save lives and shorten the amount of time which we have to deal with the economic fallout from what COVID-19 has been for our country.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Governor Whitmer, for your commitment to working families and your faith in me to fill this critical position. As the governor said, my name is Sean Egan. I am the Deputy Director for Labor in Michigan's Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. About 9 months ago, I accepted this opportunity to offer my experience, passion, and lifelong commitment to the working people and families of Michigan to the department. In this role, I've primarily overseen MIOSHA, Workers' Comp, MERC, and the Wage and Hour Division. Now, throughout this crisis, these agencies have continued to support Michigan working families and protect their rights and safety in the workplace. I am honored to be appointed as the Director of COVID-19 Workplace Safety and expand my role as we work together, meaning employees and employers, to protect their workers, workplaces, and customers from this disease. Our challenge is not ending, even though we are progressing through the stages of reopening. COVID-19 will remain a challenge in our communities and workplaces for some time, and we need to commit to doing all we can to protecting the health and safety of our workers, employers, and our community. We can do this safely, effectively, and thoughtfully, and we must to ensure that our actions do not spike the transmission of COVID. As I mentioned, the labor agencies and others within the state of Michigan have continued to support these efforts. Our teams at MIOSHA and Leo Communications, working with me and MIOSHA Director Bart Pickelman, have developed great tools that employers can use as we re-engage our economy. Recently, MIOSHA launched COVID Workplace Safety, which is a site dedicated to providing the resources necessary to employees and business. We also launched a hotline for workplace COVID questions for businesses and workers at 855-SAFE-C19. The site includes guidelines for every business, which we call general industry, as well as those specific industry recommendations for those listed in the executive orders. We also have posters, fact sheets, sample preparedness and response plans that incorporate the requirements for low and medium risk workplaces and more. We will continually update these pieces, so check back often. This tool is intended to make the process of opening easier by providing businesses with the tools they need, while also providing employees with these tools to better understand their role and their employer's obligations. Under the executive order on workplace safety, businesses are required to train workers that covers, at a minimum, workplace infection control practices, the proper use of PPE, steps workers must take to notify businesses or the operation of any symptoms of COVID, a suspected or confirmed diagnosis of COVID, and how to report unsafe working conditions. Because enforcement also includes compliance with CDC and other guidelines, you should review these MIOSHA materials for additional required training components. In addition to those resources, we will continue to coordinate across agencies to ensure both businesses and workers have the resources and protections necessary to move forward. For those business leaders and managers that may be listening, we must remember that workers will also face challenges returning to the workplace, including those that have underlying health conditions, or they're vulnerable to COVID, or they have child care issues, We must consider that we will need to allow workers to leave and remain out of the workplace if they have symptoms, are exposed, or are caring for someone with COVID. We must remain flexible and act in accordance with the law and common decency. I also want to remind working Michiganders that working for a living is not a passive sport. Their rights and protections afforded to you by law require you to actively participate in their application. If you have concerns, you must engage either by talking with management or filing a complaint with the appropriate agency. Re-engagement is not a return to business pre-COVID. We have a new workplace framework that we must accept, adopt, and reinforce day in and day out. Both workers and managers have new obligations that we've not experienced before. Workers must do their part by adhering to safety and hygiene practices. Employers must be more flexible and nimble than they have previously. And customers must protect their fellow working Michiganders by wearing face coverings if they're medically able and following good hygiene practices when they enter a place of business. As the COVID-19 Workplace Safety Director, I will work to ensure that businesses have the resources and tools necessary to meet these requirements. We'll provide updates as the science and practices change and work to ensure that workers can access the tools and support that they need to move forward. We will continue to work around the clock with our partners in labor, healthcare, and business to protect every Michigan worker to the fullest extent practical. I believe we can do this. I believe we can do it right. And if you'll join me in this commitment as employers, employees, and customers to do our part, I believe we can get back to work. Thank you.